But yeah, I've been looking into the Herobrine. I've been looking at a lot of creepypastas lately. Such as that Pokemon one, it's mainly the Pokemon Black one I was looking at, but there's also Lost Soul Silver or something like that, and there's the the hallucinating theory. I personally enjoyed all those creepypastas. Like, you gotta think of it this way, like, someone wrote all of these and some people are actually believing this, and I'm like, okay, I can believe that, the Lavender Town thing, the Lavender Town, oh wait, what am I doing? I'm breaking one of the main rules in Minecraft. The Lavender Town syndrome that it talks about is, nothing more than a myth, really? I can believe that, that the theory is that some kids committed suicide right after listening to that soundtrack from Lavender Town, but, god damn it. Anyways, I can believe that some people felt sad, possibly, from after listening to that soundtrack, but I cannot believe that they committed suicide after. I just cannot. It's just not possible. Is that? Okay, I thought that was a zombie. And I had just thought about my settings for a second. Let me get up here first. I could be wrong, but I just... When I thought about the zombie, I was like, I'm still doing that map, so maybe... Yeah, probably options... Oh. I'm gonna go on normal. So yeah, about the Lavender Town syndrome, it's a story, guys. Like, really, it's nothing more than a story. I wouldn't bother believing it. It's a good story, I'll admit that, but it's a story nonetheless. You know, like, it's just not worth believing in when it's a child's game. Why the fuck would they do that? Like, I liked that story where it's talking about the guy that programmed in the beginning, like, come with me or something like that. I don't know what the story was called, but it was basically, it was programmed into the game that, like, it was an offspring of the Lavender Town syndrome, where it's basically the cops are basically, they're trying to figure out why they're all committing suicide and blah blah blah, and they end up realizing, oh shit, it might have something to do with the beginning of the game. So they go and look, and they find absolutely nothing. So they search around. 2 cops end up dying in the story, and the chief, I guess, the main person in the story, comes back like 20 years later after reviewing, like, after the case is closed, and he basically looks over the evidence and remembers what the final guy, the not victim, the final suspect had said, and it says, play the game yourself and the wheels will roll or something like that. And it's a really interesting story because it's like, what ends up happening is, because, in case you guys don't want to read through the entire thing, because it's a really long story, the too long didn't read version is basically, the chief comes back about 10 years later, 20 years later, something like that. He basically looks over the evidence. He grabs one of the cartridges, like, it looks brand new, untouched, and I see a zombie. Unless that's Herobrine. Actually, Nah. He comes back after so many years, looks over the evidence, grabs a cartridge. It looks brand new, still works, pops it into an old Game Boy that was his son's, but his son had died with his mother years before this. Ends up popping it in to look it over, and oh shit. Okay. He looks it over. He plays the game. He plays it through. He does the computer. He goes down, talk to his mother, goes over, and he walks in the field. There's a specific field in the northern part of the map, I guess, where you can walk into. Now, this is how the game goes. You walk into the field, Professor Oak comes out, says, no, you can't go out there. There's wild Pokemon everywhere. And that zombie is not dying. And he's basically explaining how dangerous the Pokemon are and blah blah blah, and he says, come with me. Now that's what the story was based around. It's basically he's saying come with me, and what ends up happening is that the chief, or the main officer that came back, looks it over, and apparently on the screen it says come with me, and then it says daddy, come with me, we can be together again. And it's his family that died, and he's overthrown with sadness to a point where he goes insane. And all of the kids that committed suicide, like, this story goes into quite the detail, because it says, one of the specific lines I remember are basically that you can see the lines around their neck from where they were hanged, or you can see the cuts and stuff like that, and it's quite disturbing for me. So basically what ends up happening is that he sees all the children behind him, and they're trying to grab at him to bring him with them, and I'm just kind of sitting here and I'm reading this and I'm like, what the fuck? And it turns out then the guy that said the wheels will start turning, he comes out, and he's perfectly normal. He doesn't have any gunshot wounds or anything like that on him. And he says, you can stop this. And he actually pulls open the drawer and pulls out the gun that's like one of the officer's old guns, and gives it to him. And I'm just like, okay, but he's dead. What? So what ends up happening was that the officer ends up shooting himself to be with his family, but his final words were, I'm coming for you, my family.